Do you ever feel like your PMT goes OTT? Like you're experiencing life-altering changes that you can't explain and nobody else understands? Well, you could be suffering from Premenstrual Dysphoric Disorder, otherwise known as PMDD. Hi, I'm Emma. Welcome to my channel, Being His Creation. This is the second video in a series I'm making about my experience with premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Just a little heads up, we do discuss some sensitive topics like self-harm and emotional instability, so if that could be triggering to you, please feel free to skip the video or just watch with caution. Prior to coming to make this video, I wasn't noticing the link between my Facebook posts and my menstrual cycle, but Facebook definitely played a role in making me aware. While I was researching my Facebook post for this video, I discovered that I'd actually been posting about PMT a good 3 years before my diagnosis journey even started. I've always worn my heart on my sleeve, and I believe that there's value in sharing my experiences to give others permission or courage to share theirs. But also, quite a few of my Facebook friends found my PMT posts funny. The angry text and the meme that I made that I could repost every month that warned others that I might not be responsible for anything I said. But in real life, things were far worse. For example, I have this really painful memory of my son's last day in primary school. There are 2 road rage incidents that I can remember, but I can't remember which one applies to this event. But long story short, I arrived at the school livid. I could feel a volcano of frustration and helplessness building up inside me, and I didn't know where my son was. Eventually I exploded, and I marched into my son's school to find him tearfully saying goodbye to his friends while they all signed each other's shirt, and I went mental at him. The outburst was completely irrational, vicious, and mean. And talking about that now makes me remind myself that I probably still need to do some work on self-forgiveness and probably need to ask him for his. The monster was unleashed and I could hear its ugly tirades. The monster was unleashed and I could hear its ugly tirades for 2 days. Uncontrollable, hideous, abusive outbursts that I desperately wanted to stop. It felt as if the real me was locked away and all I could do was watch as I made everyone around me suffer. Then my period would arrive and I would be left to pick up the pieces of shame and guilt while the monster returned to its lair. Every area of my life was affected by my menstrual cycle. It's like I would change into a completely different person and I would become paranoid, believing that everyone was talking about me behind my back or out to get me. And I was ultra sensitive to the slightest changes in people's behaviour that I would then perceive and react to as rejection. On top of that was fatigue and the wall, the inability to put one foot in front of the other, the inability to go any further than my bed and long afternoon naps. Then I would wake up in confusion and delusions. And there were also obviously relationship issues. It seemed to me that no matter who I dated or stayed with, it was like each one of them had an emotional control panel and they just knew exactly what buttons to press. So thinking about it, my symptoms must have been prevalent before even 2010, which was where I was at when I started writing this script. That would have been the early 2000s. So the symptoms I was suffering with a long time before the diagnosis journey even began. And this is where the trigger warning comes in, because marital arguments or relationship arguments frequently resulted in acts of self-harm and visits to A&E when the outcome was much worse. I didn't want to unalive myself. I just wanted someone to recognize how much pain I was in and how frightened I was of being so out of control. The most excruciating thing about my experiences was the lack of understanding. I went through a marriage and 2 partners with them believing that my behaviours were deliberate, and that was so painful and the primary trigger for turning my emotions on myself. Sometimes the lack of understanding during my emotional outbursts was unbearable. I didn't want to behave the way I was behaving. I was frightened of my behaviour. Yet I was consistently accused of blaming my menstrual cycle as an excuse for the things I said and did that were beyond my control. Underneath all that, I was also suffering with undiagnosed lifelong ADHD. I didn't have any idea about why I switched, why I became so mean, why I became so frustrated, and why I became so sensitive to rejection. I was so frustrated about being misunderstood that self-harm and addictions were the only way that I could cope. I knew I wasn't a horrible person. I knew from the moment that my son was born that I was capable of love, that I had this feeling inside me that felt so good and so big. I knew that I was capable of love. I knew that there was a version of me deep down inside that was loving and capable and kind. I knew that I wasn't in control of my behaviour during my menstrual cycle. The craziness was terrifying and the misunderstanding was crippling. When the World Wide Web became a more accessible source of information, I started to research the symptoms for my behaviour. I knew that I got worse during the build-up to my period, but I had a lot of other things going on, so I didn't really notice the cyclical link. What I'm about to discuss is as accurate as I can recall. However, the more I've researched my history for this video, I'm realizing that the way I remember it, the order of things might not be 100% accurate, but I'm trying to remember it and give it to you to the best of my ability. So one day I had posted something on Facebook. I don't know what the post was about. Then one day I posted something on Facebook about my PMT. I don't know what it was, but it prompted one of my dad's friends to message me to give him a call. He told me about his wife's story and how that every month she also changed into another person, and that she was diagnosed with Premenstrual Dysphoric Disorder. They went through some treatment, and because she was older, she was able to have a hysterectomy, and so her life changed. And his words were, she's normal all the time now. That was like alien. This was around 2013, 2014, and they told me about this consultant at the sexual health clinic called Dr. Greenhouse. So I booked an appointment with him, and when I went to see him and talk to him, he was pretty certain that I was living with PMD. The relief that I felt when he explained the condition to me was huge. But unlike my dad's friend and his wife, my journey was going to be a lot longer, and I was still a long way from being completely normal all the time. You might have noticed just a little hairstyle change there. It's getting really, really warm. Where was I? Yeah, so my consultant was wonderful. He was understanding, he was able to convey his knowledge, and he actually travelled to other countries to teach about premenstrual dysphoric disorder there. But before the diagnosis could become official, I had to track my behaviours and symptoms over a period of a few months to prove that they were cyclical. So I was given a chart, and it had like the behaviours on it, and it had numbers from 1 to 5 on it, and I had to shade in every day how those behaviours and emotions were affecting me on a scale of 1 to 5. And then over time you could see the patterns and the peaks as my period came and went. But just to actually see that chart, to see the pattern, to see it right in front of me, the evidence, it's inexplicable really, because I had felt, and I had been told for many, many, many years that I was crazy, and I felt like I was abusive and mean, and people just believed that I meant it, and I knew I didn't. And to have that evidence was a game changer. And I don't mean it was a game changer in terms of how I managed myself, it was just a game changer in terms of how I thought about myself. Unfortunately, my understanding and the evidence for me did nothing to persuade the partners that came and went. That sounded awful, like there was loads of them. There wasn't. I suppose because it's not taught in school, you know, nothing about hormones really was taught in school. In fact, it was stigmatized way back, like when I was a teenager. So trying to explain what the menstrual cycle feels like to a man is like trying to taste the color black. As a result of this, as a way of warning my children that change was coming, we called my cycle the dragon. And when I told them that it was Dragon Week, they knew not to push too far, and they also understood that anything I might have said that wasn't nice at that time wasn't me, it was the dragon. It was my hormones, it was the changes within me. One symptom I only became aware of in the past couple of years was wanting to end my relationships every month. It was like all of a sudden my partner repelled me. Like every single one of their annoyances became magnified into serious relational arguments, and because I didn't have the vocabulary to express myself, I would usually cause a massive argument and then demand to end the relationship. In hindsight, I think I was trying to escape the pain and frustration of not being believed, and of how I felt about the hurt that I was causing others. I felt absolutely certain that if I was single, my symptoms would not be so severe. Being in relationships triggered my PMDD symptoms, and my PMDD symptoms ruined my relationships. Eventually, one man did believe me, although at first he too thought that I was a psychopath, because he was frightened of these outbursts that I was having that he also believed were intentional. Now by this time, 5 years have gone by, and I was on a very different path. Unfortunately, my consultant retired, but also my consultant gynecologist retired, and I was going through a treatment called Zoladex, which I will explain in the next video. So please subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to check that one out. So basically I was being managed by nurses, and I wasn't able to talk to anybody about new things that were going on for me. Now although other partners had caused me abusive, being called a psychopath was something new. And in despair of these new accusations, out of the blue, I just tried to get hold of the sexual health clinic, and my original consultant had come back part-time. So my husband agreed to attend the consultation with me. He listened to the explanations given, and finally he believed me. I know that during our relationship he tried very hard to deflect the dragon, to be loving and compassionate, but eventually he learned it was better to just stay out of my way. Sadly, our marriage broke down before I had the operation, which put an end to the suffering. Not the marriage breaking down, but the operation. Again, that's another video. But now during this time, I was slowly coming to faith, and I felt it was no coincidence that Dr. Greenhouse, my consultant, had come back just at the right time, because he didn't stay long. He brought somebody into my life who was willing to learn about my condition, and he caused me to make that phone call at just the right time to go back onto my PMDD journey. And through my faith, I've learned many new coping mechanisms and truths that have brought me through spiritual, emotional and mental healing. If you are a Christian and you're going through stuff and you feel like God is far away, I believe that the very fact you're watching this video now is proof that he's right there by your side, because you've come to watch this video at just the right moment for your journey to begin. I would like to continue your journey. I would love to hear about your diagnosis stories. What was it like for you to learn that there was hope ahead? Have you battled to be believed, or is this your first step into realizing that something bigger is going on inside you? I'd love to hear, so please put your stories in the comments below, or join me for further discussion over on Patreon, where I'll put the link in the description below this video. If you would like to continue your journey with others on theirs, or would like to discuss the content of this video or ask any questions that you might have, then you'll be pleased to know that I have set up a Patreon channel to back up this channel, but I've created PMDD discussion zone, like chats, as well as a private chat for women to come to a safe place where they can express their feelings and emotions regarding this topic. Thank you for joining me and for watching this far. In the next video, I'm going to explore the different treatments and their effectiveness according to my own experience. So remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss it. And I would be so grateful if you could share this video and if you could like it and maybe just put a comment below, because all these things help to get my video seen by more people, which means it could reach other women that need to understand and need to learn about premenstrual dysphoric disorder. You have been amazing and I am so grateful to you for being here. Come on over to my Patreon if you'd like to continue the discussion. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.